Welcome to the premiere episode of the GAC Alumni Spotlight, brought to you by GEICO, where we take time to interview former Great American Conference student athletes and check up with them what they're doing in their post-playing careers. Today is our premiere episode. We welcome in former Henderson State ready basketball standout Krystal Beachum. Krystal, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Eric.
Krystal, obviously, we first got to know you on the basketball court there at Henderson, but in just these few short years off the court, you've made quite a name for yourself there. As an author, tell us about what inspired you to write your book. Obviously, promote the title of the book and how you got interested in that field.
Yeah, so the name of my book is called For the Other 98%, so helping them go pro in entrepreneurship. And so I first delved into entrepreneurship while at Henderson. A lot of people don't know, but I started my first company there, and so that was like the first glimpse of entrepreneurship and how it can definitely be a career choice. And I really wrote about my experiences and how other athletes could do the same while being a collegiate athlete.
And while at Henderson, what was the support level you got from faculty and coaches as when you brought up the idea of the book?
So they were really supportive, to be honest. Like the Mr. Jones, the athletic director, Miss Lynette Jones, and so everyone around the community was so supportive of what I was doing, bringing it back to Henderson, doing my book signing. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity for actually letting me come back. And then I was also able to speak to the SAC committee, which was pretty fun because I was a president while there as well.
And you mentioned having a bunch of support for you about the idea, but many have said that the writing process is fairly lonely. Did you echo that sentiment, or was it always a communal thing as you were slogging on the typewriter or the computer, I should say?
It was very lonely. I'm not even gonna lie. A lot of people didn't even know I was writing a book. My mom didn't know until I finished, and and then my brother, who wrote my foreword, he didn't know until maybe 2 months when I was about to publish it. But thankfully, I was able to surround myself with other people that I can get advice from. And then I also interviewed a lot of former athletes as well as current athletes to actually fill out my book as well. So even though they thought it was an interview process, it was more so like research for my book.
And with the interview process you went on there, how easy was it to find subjects willing to talk about the being part of that other 98%?
Thankfully, I have a lot of connections, not only within like the Division II community, but also with Division I, junior college, and then some of my brother's friends. So it was very easily to get them to be open enough to talk about their experiences. And they were actually willing to do so because a lot of people don't question them and ask like what could have been done different, what could have been done to better help you prepare, or even if you want to start a business, what are some questions you would want to ask? And so they were really supportive and very helpful throughout the interview process.
And as you went through the process, what were the common themes that everybody kept coming back to, and how were you able to hone those into kind of a collective string of stories?
I think like introduction was first because now in the age of social media, so many people are becoming entrepreneurs through technology, through social media, influencers. And I think they would have loved the opportunity to be introduced to that career. I think that was one. Secondly was time management, like how was I going to do that? And then that was the second one. And then the third was the rules and regulations regarding entrepreneurship and creating a business. So those were my two top themes that I gathered.
I guess, did you find that there were a lot of misconceptions that athletes may have when they come into school about what they can and can't do? And I guess, have you been able to convey that it's not as restrictive as they may think?
Yes, definitely, but it's always to the point. I can give a good example. I'm working with a student athlete. She's a track athlete at Cornell, and she has a huge following on social media. And she was like, well, I want to do this fitness guru type of thing, and I want to create an online program. how can I do it? And I was like, well, we got to take your face out of it. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, we can't have a program with your face on it because it's using your likeness. Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh, I didn't know that. And so she's been doing research on her end, and then she'll come back to me and ask more questions. And I was like, yeah, you can't do that either. And so she's like, what is going on? So it can be hard, but it can be worked within.
Well, that reminds me, it was at the kicker, was it at UCF or a school in Florida had a similar, I guess, issue we ran into. It he had a huge platform, was it for trick shots or whatever it was, but and he people were wanting to have him cash in on that, and he ran into the same issues. I guess, did you guys ever speak or just through third parties? Have you guys been able to connect or?
Just really through third parties. I actually just finished doing a video on my IGTV company page about his case study and like what could have been done differently, not only on his part, but I believe like UCF and the NCAA. And it just goes back to like education and being able to help them understand the rules and regulations. So when that does occur, then they know what they can and cannot do. And it could have definitely been changed, but he probably would have been able to do, maybe not trick shots, but he probably would have been able to do something outside of his sport that would have allowed him to still like be a youth.
And so since the book has come out, have you found yourself dealing more directly with current athletes or institutions wanting you to come in and speak to, groups en masse?
To be honest, I've only really been in contact with current athletes, and I think this year, since it is my second year of being in business within Student Athletes Unite, I'm doing more work with trying to get in colleges and universities because I am trying to reach the mass. And so that is like definitely a goal of mine within the next in the upcoming months as well as in the spring. Thankfully, I was invited in at Washington State for their master's students, and then we did have a couple of student athletes come in, so that was pretty cool. Just being able to talk to like pretty much reimagining your degree, whether it's you being a student or also a student athlete. So that was pretty fun.
And certainly with platforms even like this, you can perhaps reach groups in large quantities just through the technology of video chats like this, where people can ask and answer questions that may come up to you. You mentioned Student Athletes United. When you thought of it, did you realize you'd made the initials SAU?
I did, and you should have saw me when I came back to Henderson. I created a shirt. It was a really nice shirt. Thankfully, we've changed our logo since then. It's still SAU, but we have changed our logo. And when I went back to Henderson and I had that shirt on, they were like, "Really, Krystal?" And I'm like, "But it's not blue and yellow. It's not red like Henderson." And they were like, "Krystal, you have to figure out something else." And I was like, well, it's already said and done. I'm already licensed, so.
You need like an extra A in there or something like that that could have helped you.
I can always change it. So hopefully down the line, maybe the next 3 or 4 years, I maybe want to switch it around. But right now.
Well, as long as you don't go with something like Opportunities in Business Unite, because then you become OBU, and that's definitely a no-no.
That is definitely a no-no, exactly. OBU were like this all day long, so that definitely won't happen.
Well, Krystal, I want to use that opportunity to transition from your post-playing career to bring you back to Henderson. There, you were certainly an accomplished member of the team. There, you became just the 4th player at that time in GAC history to reach 1,000 points. By the time you finished there, just taking back to some of your memories there in Arkadelphia on the hard court.
Oh my God, there's so many memories. Good and bad. Thankfully, I ended up with a lot of good ones. Especially, I think the best memory I have is, even though it was a collective effort between my teammates, I think like me breaking the records. Like never in my lifetime would I imagine like scoring so many points, even hitting like 1,000 points within 3 years. Like I definitely didn't imagine that, and so me doing that, it's like, oh, I guess I am a pretty good basketball player.
Well, since the league has certainly even seen some changes since you were there, so we up to the 12 teams now, so you didn't have all 12 members that when you played, but just go around the league. What was the hardest bus trip?
Oh gosh, I think it was Northwestern. It was somewhere in Oklahoma. It was like in the boondocks. Like they probably have more cows than people. It was literally nothing there. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think it was Northwestern. I think it was. It was they're red and black, right?
That would be Northwestern. Sorry, Ranger fans, but all right. And then best post game meal on a road trip comes where?
Oh, that one's hard. Okay, if I'm being fat, it would probably be like Popeyes. Definitely Popeyes. And then there was one time we went to Olive Garden, and like our coach was trying to tell us to like be healthy, and he was like, "Well, technically red sauce is better for you," and I'm like, "But I like white sauce, and I like chicken Alfredo, so I'm gonna get chicken Alfredo."
If you won, you get the red sauce. If you lost, white sauce for you.
Exactly, white sauce. So even to this day, every time I think of like pasta, I think in my mind like red sauce is technically healthier for you, but white sauce tastes so much better.
Well, as back in my long ago days, I was a runner, and we would go on Friday nights to place. We were limited to 2 breadsticks at places like Olive Garden, so we couldn't fatten up on breadsticks the night before either. So I remember some of those restrictions too.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, all right, just a couple more looking back. Let's see, which way do we want to go with? Best hotel roommate in terms of cleanest or easiest to get along with, or you guys have the same music tastes, or whatever way you want to take that question.
Destiny Smith.
Reason?
We're the same person. We like even though she's a little more, I'm not gonna say outgoing, but she's more assertive than I am. We're kind of like the same person, and I just literally talked to her today about like the past games, and she was like, "I miss y'all," and I was like, "Some of us, but I missed you too, though." But definitely, probably the best roommate, definitely.
And then the next one is toughest person you had to guard.
Oh, I think her name was Rosie.
Rosie Silva, Arkansas Tech.
Yes, and she's now overseas. And the reason why I remember her because I also played against her when we both played at junior college.
Okay.
And so when I saw Arkansas Tech, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, not again!" So I was like, I used to tell my coach, like, "Coach, can I just guard somebody else? Like we switch. Can we just keep like someone just take her? Like make sure
you welcomed having someone set a pick on you. Then you had to switch and you released offer for."
Yes. I was like, keep sending the picks so I can switch.
Yeah. Let's see, just a couple more questions here with Krystal Beachum as we are part of the GAC Alumni Spotlight brought to you by GEICO. Best Henderson State memory, non-basketball related.
Non-basketball related. Dang. There's so many.
Well, then it should be easy for you to share one then.
I'm trying to like, oh my god. So, non-basketball related. I think when I got inducted into a Hall of Fame, I think it was like Alpha Chi, and I think it was because of my GPA was pretty high, so I think it was at a time of 3.7. Mm-hmm. So that was really one outside of like athletics that I really appreciated because not only did I work hard on the court, but also off the court within academics.
And let's see if I have any more good questions like that. I probably shouldn't stall while we're recording here, but if you could, here we go. Yeah, if you could play one more game at Henderson, who would you want your 4 teammates to be, and who would you want the opponent to be?
Ooh, okay. Destiny Smith, Joy Taylor, Angelique Sledge, Jasmine. Ooh.
You can have a person off the bench for a sixth person, so you can get some rest.
Okay. Jill Temples and Jasmine Settles.
And can I presume the opponent's Wachita, or would it be someone else you want to face?
Ooh. It depends on what year I was there for the opponent. I would think Harding, because I feel like if I have the top 5, then I want to play the best. And all years it was either Harding or Tech, but I would definitely go with Harding.
Well, I would like to see a GAC alumni game. We're getting further along as a conference. We could probably have a nice, good alumni game amongst the 12 schools. I think it would make for a good tournament.
That would be so much fun. I would definitely come down for that. So much fun.
And then getting back to your post-career, Deja, you said you've got the book out. How are you still feeling feedback from that? Does it make you want to write a second book, or what is that? What is it led you to? That was a hard no.
People have asked, definitely don't look into writing another one. Maybe expand on that, so like different revisions. And hopefully that will be in the works in like the next year or two. Just because the more knowledge I gain, the fact that everything is changing, then I feel like it's definitely the only way possible to add on to that book. Yeah, I don't want to do another one. I don't want to do another one. But I say, they say never. So, but that's the plan, anyways.
Well, I think we've certainly done a proper spotlight on your Krystal here as we look back on your Henderson State times and now here in your post-playing days. Is there anything else that I should have asked you that you want to talk about that I was just too forgetful to bring up?
No, I think just like if they want to hear more about me, just like find me on social media, Krystal Beachum. Like, I'm the only one out there, so.
Well, Krystal, we appreciate you being the I guess we'll go with the test dummy, right? For our GEICO Alumni Spotlight here. If all of them go as well as this one did, I think it'll be a great project here we have here in the GAC. Hopefully we will be able to catch up again soon, and if not, we'll look forward to maybe seeing you down in Arkadelphia at a game this winter. And we look forward to see what you have in store.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you, Krystal.